William Alex Jones was the father of Bob Jones, who founded Bob Jones University, and I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at him today. In the picture you can see on the screen here, this is Alex with his wife Georgia Creel Jones, and they were living in the South after the Civil War in the postbellum era, and he was a yeoman farmer and was working on his farm during this time. So he was a small farmer, a subsistence farmer, and he was in this area of southeast Georgia or Alabama, sorry. And they called the area was the wiregrass area because it was so hard to grow stuff in the area. And one thing that he had to do was to raise livestock. This was something he could do in this area, but there wasn't much growth of anything else. Prices for farm equipment and needs started tanking. The economy started to tank in this time after the war, and it was having a hard time bouncing back. Debt was rising, and it was not a good time, as we know, for those in the South and for these small farmers. He attempted to plant cotton. There's some places that you can see he was able to do that, but overall, cotton in the area did not grow well, and he continued to raise livestock and tried to grow peanuts and other vegetables. He was able to do this somewhat, even though his son seemed to make it like he could grow anything and make it almost magical, which probably not the case. As far as his background, he was a Civil War veteran of the H Company of the 37th Regiment in Alabama. He was injured in a battle. He was saved by a fellow soldier, a friend of his, who became the namesake of his son, Robert Reynolds, and he would have a wounded knee. This wounded knee would be a badge of honor for him. He'd be honored as a veteran of the Civil War, and he would teach his son to regret that the South had lost this war. And Robert Reynolds would teach his son the same thing, who was named Bob Jones Jr. The economics, again, were out of control, especially for farmers, small farmers like Jones. The agricultural markets were not doing well. They basically had folded. Farmland was destroyed from the war, and planting any crops was difficult. He couldn't afford to hire helpers. He had his son to be a plowman, and by the age of 9, he was an experienced plowman who could do anything a grown man could do on the farm. His son would bring produce to the local market to sell it, and this is similar to what we read about happening in our reading this week in sod busting. He felt Alex Jones felt a frustration because of a certain entitlement for larger farmers, for the national industrial market that was forming during this time, large landowners, merchants, and those types. And we see a picture of this clearly in our reading, The Political Economy by Richard Benzel. So he did something about it. He was a fighter. He was Welsh-Irish, and he didn't give up a fight, even coming to blows at some points. And one way of fighting was political activism. He was a part of the Farmers Alliance, who tried to stand up for the rights of smaller farmers. This was a precursor to the Populist Party in the later 1800s, 19th century. And this would be something that would influence those after him in his own family. He was a devout Christian. He was a Southern Methodist, and what this looked like was going to church, being in the Bible and prayer, and going to revival meetings regularly with his children and his family. Thank you for listening.